Right, welcome back. Off the bus and yeah, wearing a red shirt, waiting on. Wearing red too. Now, when you, like I said, when you begin to understand and truly observe and you know study what it is that they're doing, you can I've noticed them using a lot of gray card too, but I really didn't want to pay it any mind. I don't pay it any mind, but and also a lot of use of light skin quiches, right? I call them light skin quiches because again, they will bombard me with light skinned black women, right? Again, because they figure that that they can steer me towards the lighter skinned black female. Listen, I've dated dark skinned black female, really dark skinned black female, as well as light skinned black female, and I don't. My preference is not on the color of their skin. But because I am consciously aware of the conditioning, right? It has never had any effect on me, whether when I was not aware of it, right? But because I'm more conscious of a lot of things, I can see particularly how I was being manipulated. Okay, now again, they need to study these behavioral programs or these, non-consensual human experiment programs will always exist. Okay, and very few people like myself or others who take the time to truly understand what's being done to them. And I'm that person. I love figuring shit out. You see that? Literally no one stopped for the ambulance. Right? They just went through the light. Right? No one stopped for the ambulance. Okay? So as I was saying, yeah, I love figuring stuff out. That's what made me good at when I was working, good at my job. And, I just used the same ability to try and understand what was happening to not just myself, but other TIs as well. So like I said, we are all being targeted. I would say 90% of our targeting, the psychological aspect of it is the same. Even the technological aspect, 100% of it is the same. But the psychological aspect, that other 10% is geared towards you personally, right? Your how they condition you, your habits, your situation, right? Your life situation. 90% of it is the same in terms of the tactics, the methods. Whether it be the covert warfare, the covert psychological warfare, right? The honey trapping, the use of, again, drugs, unwitting, covert drugging is the same, right? What else? The use of poisoning, food poisoning is the same, okay? So we got to understand that. But this is what they do. And again, this is how we have to, as TIs, those of us, this is how we have to expose it. Like I said, they'll always, like I said, I don't care about the labeling, the mental illness labeling, because that's what they do. That's been their history. Like I said, as black people, they've labeled black people in general as paranoid and delusional. When Gary Webb exposed what the government did in the 80s within the crack cocaine era. See a lot of gray vehicles, right? So again, like I said, I understand how they target me and what does it do. like I said, I recognize it doesn't have the effect on me that it once did. But I still recognize it. Okay, and so I've become more cautious. You know, still a little paranoid at times, but hey, that's a natural part of what you will feel when you are being targeted, and I think I've proven I've been targeted. Okay, and there are others that are doing the same thing too. And also there's a group of lawyers who are actually doing a lot of the work, the legal part of the work, in terms of the trying to explain in a more legal way the terms of how they're using, your community to stalk you, your community to harass you, how the police are engaged in certain crimes against TIs, and again giving you the statute of law, right, in terms of what you can, as a TI, use, right? So like I talk about using, legal terms, right? So, for example, conspiracy against rights, okay? That's a crime, okay? Covert drugging, that's a crime. Okay, drugging somebody without their consent, that's a crime, right? Harming somebody, poisoning their food, that's a crime. Okay? And again, they'll try to get away with it because, it's food poisoning. Yeah, again, you guys, I used to love to take my kids to IHOP. I have not taken them to IHOP in over a decade. Okay? Let's see, the last time I took my kids to IHOP, my oldest son was about, I would say, probably about 9, 10. He's 22 now. Okay, that's how long it is. That's how long it's been. Okay, that's how long it's been. So again, but it is what it is. And I want you guys to be observant. And you'll see a lot of gray and red vehicles, right, for the majority of the night. But, hey. Like I said, learn the effect of color, right? The psychological effect of color. And how they engage in using certain colors to affect your mood, right? Because color affects your mood greatly, not slightly, greatly. Okay. So again, understanding the power of these things, right? Understanding how they use psychology, how they weaponize psychology, how they weaponize everything against as a TI. And again, training the community to engage in these sort of psychological operations. Again, this is nothing new. Zurcher Zoom. Right? This is just Zoom, I would say 1,000 times, right? According to a pro, 1,000 times, right? Non-consensual human experimentation, 1,000 times, because now they have the ability to microchip you without your knowledge, right? And you wouldn't even know. Not only that, but they have perps working in all facet of society, all businesses. So whether you change the lock in your house or your apartment, they already have keys for that. Okay. All right. But and again, it's to have you living in fear, right? Because it's fear-based trauma program, trauma-based fear program. Okay. Whatever you want to call it, fear-based trauma programming. That sounds better. But yeah, this is what they do. Okay. And I say religion is a big part of it. These churches need to be held accountable, and they will be held accountable. Once their members start to wake up and realize that what these people have been engaging in, the manipulation, right? And a big part of it too, their religion make excuses because their religious belief, and they love their pastor because they see their pastors as kind of like the Pope, right, the representative of God. And again, they don't even read the Bible. God don't have any representative here on earth, right? Okay, your very own Bible tell you that. Your very own Bible tells you God don't. God, you know, what he said. The last person is who? Jesus Christ. In your Bible. No more. And when God in the Bible, when God spoke to people, who he had anointed people, right? They were his prophets, right? But now you got every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Mary, Sally, Jane, right? Keisha, Felicia, Kiki, you know, what do you call them? Pookie, Ray Ray, Daquan, talking about God spoke to them. Okay, Pastor Milton, Pastor John, Pastor Bishop Howard Kuka, or whatever, all talking about God spoke to them. Right? You got pastors getting on the phone talking about they speaking to God right now. You know, that's the mockery, right? That's the foolishness. That's the sham of their religion. Okay? And yet these people are stealing from the poor, robbing the poor blind to enrich themselves. Okay? And then got the nerve to talk about, reading from the scriptures, talking about a rich man has less of a chance of, a rich man has less of a chance of getting into heaven than pushing a needle, pushing a thread to a needle, okay, into a needle, right? That's to tell you. So there you go. That's what they're not preaching the Bible. They're preaching what they want to preach. They interpret it however they want to interpret to manipulate the minds of their congregation. People need to wake up. Black people need to wake up. Okay? Yep, anyhow. Wow, I was taking the bus for quite a while to come. Those New York Predator, I say certain things like, certain words like wow. You know, when I start to say okay a lot, they start using the sirens. I wonder if it bothers them, right? Just like I say it right a lot also, you know, or you know. But you know, certain things I say, I realize that it affects them, and so they use the sirens. So I'll be like Joe Pesci. Okay. You know that movie? What was the movie? Joe Pesci, Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon. As a matter of fact, I need to put that sound effect on my audio mixer. I gotta get that. It's just hilarious. But yeah, they will constantly use a siren whenever I say okay or wow. But hey, it is what it is. The sociopaths and psychopaths, the dark triads. And I've also noticed that they've been using a lot of sirens also whenever I post about these crooked cops being arrested or being fired from their job. All right, so I think I'm going to do a little bit more posting on Facebook of these cops being fired and arrested for the crime that they commit against the general public, how they ignore their oath, how they abuse the law, right? And again, another legal term you should use is legal abuse under the color of law. Okay, these are things that you have to talk about. All right, you got to use these terms, these terminology. because you really need to understand what's being done to you. Right? The non-consensual human experimentation goes against the Nuremberg Code, okay, which says that in order for you that you cannot experiment on people without their consent, and if they give the consent, you must state all of the negative effect, and but what they'll do, they'll tell you some things and they'll hide other things, right? So again, they will never stay true to their word, to any agreement, anything like that, because again, that's go through their history. Go through their history. Right? And there was a woman who worked for I think she worked for the website The Hill. It's a newspaper, online newspaper called The Hill. Brianna, I think her name is Brianna Joy Taylor. And she was doing an interview with this woman from Israel who's claimed that her sister is kidnapped by Hamas. And if you go look at that interview, you'll see this woman, like, she looked like a robot. Literally, she had no, she was almost zombie-like, okay? And on top of that, she has a co-host. And her co-host did not chime in at all. But again, I think, she might have been brainwashed. Okay, she might have been brainwashed, so they can get rid of her. Okay, what certain media outlets are doing is purging their black employees, and they're doing it in such a way that the black employees cannot sue them. Right? I mean, you see what happened with CNN and Don Lemon. Okay, all right. So they do not want that to happen with Brianna Joy Taylor. Hopefully, maybe she might be able to sue them for an unjust firing. But it seemed like nobody can. And she was doing her job as a journalist. She wasn't disrespectful of the host. But again, we know the Israelis, they're liars. They're liars. Okay, Netanyahu is a liar. He's a psychopath, a dark triad. Right? Some of these Israelis are lying. They don't talk about the innocent children that the Israeli Defense Force assassinate, kill them, use them as target practice, right? They don't talk about that. And women too. They don't talk about how they steal Palestinian land, killing families, right? Forcing them out of their homes and claiming their land, right? See, they don't talk about the shit that led up to November 7th, October 7th, right? They don't talk about what Israel was doing that led up to that. Okay? And what Israel is doing right now, I think it's what they're doing, they want to kill every Palestinian because I think it's a cover-up. I think they basically probably even microchip all these Palestinians, or probably even sterilize them, right? Going forward, right? And they can do that. They can sterilize an entire population. Okay, and they can do it in such a way that over time, that population would no longer be able to have kids. So it might be the next generation, or the 2 generations down the line, right? I tell you, it's like what Israel is doing. I think a lot of people are sympathizing. Not sympathizing, I should say, but I think a lot of people in their mind are saying something that's, truly, and I mean, I wouldn't say it and I wouldn't think it, but I think a lot of people are saying certain things, okay? So again, it's things like this that you cannot, like I said, if we as black people turn around and enslave other groups of people, then that shows us that we are no better than them. Okay? And what the Israelis are doing, what these so-called Jewish people are doing, right, is showing that they're no better than, Not gonna say his name, but you guys get my point. They're showing that they know better. Okay? And the United States is condoning the genocide of human beings. The United States, who claim to be the leader of human rights and civil rights and all that, and we know that's a lie. We as TIs can tell you that's a lie. Okay? And I think, the reason why they want to keep us quiet as TI, because, again, we are the proof. We are the evidence to show what the United States is all about. In terms of the non-consensual human experimentation, the violation of our rights and as human beings, the subjugation of cruel and unjust treatment, right? And what they're doing is no better than what, a certain person did to his own people, right? The German people. And manipulating them and turning them, weaponizing them against their fellow countrymen and women and children. So like I said, don't think the United States is not, matter of fact, all these countries these people get their idea of exterminating other people from the United States. This is why this war in Palestine, the United States is paying for it. They're paying for it. They're supplying the resources, they're supplying the weapons, right? They're supplying money. Right? Now, what if Russia decides, hey, you know what? I'm going to supply Iran or which other country? With weapons, right? Can Russia do the same? Or would the United States say Russia can't do, but again, it's America walk around with a bullying stick, and this is why people in America love to bully other people, because if the leadership, whether it be Democrat or Republican, like I said, they're two sides of the same coin. The only difference is their ideology when it comes to how they want society to be, right? In terms of their ideology when it comes to certain things. But when it comes to white supremacy, they're the same. When it comes to being beholden to their corporate sponsors, right, the elites, they're the same. Okay? When it comes to like how people should live, in terms of their sexuality, and in terms of their religion, in terms of their education, in terms of their societal norms, they're different on those aspects. But in terms of white supremacy, in terms of the subjugation of the poor, and particularly displacing so-called minority groups, they're both the same. Okay? When it comes to capitalism, they're both the same. Right? I was also watching a video where it talks about how the FBI raided these corporate landlords. And what these corporate landlords were doing, they were price fixing, right? Yeah, like I said, capitalists, what do you expect to happen in a capitalist society? You're going to have those at the top, their lust and their thirst for greed, right? It is to the extreme, right? They have an extreme case of what it called, right? Which is a mental illness. This is what they have. In the credit department. Oh, they showed up. They didn't like what I had to say about the Israelis, right? Yeah, they're terrorists. Israel is a terrorist state as well as an apartheid state. And Netanyahu deserves what's coming to him, right? In terms of with the international court. Okay? And I think, a decade from now, Israelis is going to look back and be ashamed of what they allow happen, right? When the whole truth comes out, right? Of course they show up. Look at them. Why? Because the bus is coming, so they show up. Is the number? Oh, I can't even see the number. Okay, so yeah, he's a war criminal. Okay, now because the United States are behaving in the way they behave by not telling him, or not at least tell him that he needs to turn himself over. When other countries commit war crimes, right, and their leaders, no one is going to take the United States seriously when they get up on the world stage and say anything about, in terms of who is a war criminal. Okay, that's the position going forward the United States is going to be in. They are not going to be able for other countries to take them seriously when they talk about arresting war criminals from other countries and other nations. Anyhow, talk to you guys in the next video.